from the Flying Chairs, the Rise podcast. And today, oh my God, I got a big ass group of people here, and they're all friends. So it's even going to be even more crazy and exciting. So again, Robert's first time here with us. And we got Heidi and Aaron back for the second time. And yeah, we're just going to kick the shit today and see what's up with everybody. And Heidi, what's new? Since all the craziness,
I love kicking shit.
Right? What's new in California besides you being in the news every damn day?
I know. I guess I'd like to say we're calming down, but not really. I mean, we're still dealing with trauma, especially in my little homeschool community and Waldorf community. So we deal with it every day, the aftermath. You probably heard I myself was evacuated for overnight. Everything went okay. However, it really, we talk so much about it, but actively being in it, I realized what went right, what went wrong. So I kind of adjusted for any future episodes that may occur of my plans. And so that was really helpful. And we got some rain a few days ago and some more is coming. However, everything's been brought to light. What is happening? Why did it happen? Why does it look like paradise in Maui? People are asking questions now that never asked questions before. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And it's also really humanity rising. And that's my bliss, and watching people really take care of each other. That's what we've been witnessing a lot. So if they're not already slowly starting to wake up, then they're totally offline and not talking the conspiracies. They're just helping everybody. So I guess that's all good stuff. But I had a friend recently just go through Pasadena, and it's just traumatic. And we know there's so many different storylines of why and how, what could possibly be, causing this. I myself have a carpool of kids. We saw what was happening with the weather system. Like we've just been watching this, even the day of the actual big fire kicking off. The skies were unlike we've ever seen before. My kids were taking pictures in the car. Birds were crazier than ever before. So it could have been a combination of so many things, but it's been an eye opener, and we're just one foot in front of the other.
Well, thank God that you're okay.
Yeah,
and your house is okay too. My God.
Thank you. Yes.
Jesus.
I'm still here. I know. It's crazy. I have to I literally look like I'm just smiling about it, but it kind of I've been texting my friend all day. After this, I celebrate my friend's 50th, and I'm like, we're due for a celebration. Let's celebrate something, because she's been trauma everywhere. And it's like, we're like, what is happening? That was the longest January we've ever had out here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Crazy. So you can only laugh about it now. We're like laughing, going, like, what? It's like a crazy person laugh, pretty much. But motion picture, everything's back to set. The Giants on set, like everything's back in motion. So it's
Good.
like this trauma happened, and then it's really weird. It's really weird. Yeah, but we're good. Thanks for having me.
Yes. And Aaron, what's new with you since we talked the last?
Well, I guess lots new. And my phone's ringing now. Now I can't go get it. It's too far away. But I do my show 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on Truth Quest with Aaron Moriarty on Rumble, because I was kicked off for life off of YouTube. So I can't even like your show.
Oh.
Isn't that sad?
That is sad.
But a friend of mine posted something on Facebook, and have you ever seen that X-ray image that Nikola Tesla produced with his own machine before the X-ray machine was invented?
No.
He X-rayed his own foot because he had a broken ankle or something. And I was looking at that a couple of years ago, and I thought I saw something in the shadows in the side of the image, and I increased the contrast, and I think I made an amazing discovery. So,
ooh, well, maybe you have to tell us a little bit more.
Yeah,
tell us. Don't tease us. Cliffhanger there. Holy
I could show you, but I don't know how to do that on here.
Let's see. Can I allow?
Could I?
Let's see.
All right.
How do I let people share stuff? I'm really good at this stuff.
Zoom very well. I'm gonna zoom.
I'm a StreamYard boy.
Me too.
Me
That's
too.
why
Me too.
that's why I'm
All right.
fuzzy on Zoom because I have a Chromebook. I just have a like a simple basic Chromebook, so it's not compatible with Zoom. So I don't even see all the features y'all see.
Yep.
I wanna be fuzzy.
I want to be fuzzy.
Sounds awesome. I can't.
Uh, I
Maybe I
got
keep
can
playing
plenty
around
of
with it.
fuzz on my.
maybe
I'm good.
I
I
can
got enough
email them
fuzz
to
for
you.
all of us.
Yeah, you do. I can email it to you.
Yeah, or yeah, send it to me in Messenger.
Oh, on Messenger. Yeah, okay. Groovy like a record. All right.
But
All
yeah,
right.
Robert,
So
I
yeah,
want you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
So no, Robert, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you know. Actually, when I saw you the first time, you were with Heidi, and she was like talking about her Bigfoot experience on your show, and like I snagged her from your show. I was like, I'm gonna get Heidi on my show. She seems super awesome and bubbly. And then yeah, and it's so funny how it all came full circle. Like now that I'm with doing stuff with you, and we got something around the turnpike, and yeah, it's gonna
Yeah,
be tight. So yeah,
right down the turnpike. It's churning. It's moving. So, yeah, about 4 years ago, when I got to give a little backstory. My name's Robert Earl White. I'm from South Jersey. I've done a lot of different things. A little bit about me. I actually went to Bible college. I was a youth pastor. I was in a professional metal Christian band touring all around the country. Then after that, I went to the Middle East. I lived in Turkey for 2 years. And then I came back to the States, yada, yada, yada. And 4 years ago, when I was a child in 1991, April 21st, my family, we had a UFO crash behind our house. I went 30 years without having evidence, but always knowing the story. I found the evidence. I went forward. I shared it. I found old Mutual UFO Network files and etc. and other documents. After I made a small documentary, other people and witnesses started coming forward from my small town, and it became known as the Lower Alloways Creek incident. It was covered up by men wearing black suits, the Coast Guard, the Air Force, and other responders. It was a big incident. A lot of media came out and recorded there. Bud Hopkins was actually working with my mom as well, but a lot
oh,
of
wow.
people don't know who that guy is. You know, this was 1991. This was before the TV show X-Files came out in 1993. The movie Men in Black came out in 1996. In 1991, we just thought they were government men. They had black hats, black suits, but they looked human. Of course, they didn't have facial hair. No military or government person has facial hair. So we just thought they were G-men. But when they started to talk, the way they act, very strange. And they threatened my 22-year-old single mom that if she didn't report it as a helicopter crash, they would take me away. So I made it my life mission to get real disclosure and hold these sons of bitches accountable for threatening my poor mother and making us feel like we're absolutely crazy. It drove my mom to drink herself to death, which she
Oh,
passed away 2 months before I found the evidence.
Mhm.
So she had to go to the grave never being validated. And I made it my mission. And I started We Are the Disclosure Order of Light to go out there and try to help people that have had experiences they can't understand, because sometimes those that really have these experiences, they don't have anyone to talk to about them. And they can make us go to really deep, dark places. And my mother was a contactee. I've never been taken by ETs or anything like that. I have seen things, but I won't get into that. But my mother was in constant contact with these things,
wow.
and she filled me in growing up. So since I was 3.5 years old, the reality of extraterrestrials and UFOs, especially after having one crash behind our house, it was an elongated triangular craft, three blue lights, bright white plasma light in the center of it, completely silent, no sound. It exploded. It was very strange, and it was traumatizing. And I'm not trying to clout chase or nothing. Horrible tragedies with planes right now.
Oh
And the
yeah.
whole world is in shock from seeing these explosions. Imagine being 3.5 years old and seeing an explosion just like what everyone is watching. No, when I see this on TV, it's a horrible tragedy. I'm praying for all the families. It's terrifying. I don't like planes much to begin with. But I see people's reaction. I'm like, man, people have no idea. I had that happen right behind my house. Thankfully, with my situation, the craft was just hovering there. It wasn't moving, swaying. It was oddly still in the sky, and it crashed over marshland. And they closed the bridge down that day in 1991, still closed today. And it's the
Wow.
Lower Alloways Creek incident. But I made it my mission to go out there and give everyday normal people a chance to share their experiences. I didn't care about the hot shots in the community and stuff because, I have actual hard evidence. I've always based my claims with the evidence that I've obtained and waited a long time. I waited 30 years until I came public, until I had sufficient evidence before making my claims. I didn't want to look like a jackass in front of the world. If I'm going to tell my crazy life experience, I need to have some evidence or no one's going to believe me. And
Wow.
I've always kind of based myself in that, but I understand not everyone has the privilege of having that kind of evidence with their experience. And that's where I was starting to step in with We Are the Disclosure, where I allowed people like Heidi and so many others who had experiences, but they didn't have it on video or they didn't have, they just had the experience. I allowed those people to just walk through their lives from the beginning to the end, share their life story. When was your first, paranormal experience, and just walk through their life with stuff. And it's amazing what I would learn about some of my guests. And there's nothing that I love more than hearing someone's life journey because that's how you really get to know who someone is. You don't get to know them from 1 hour podcast. You get to know them from hearing their entire story because I've learned, like Heidi and all of my other guests, we all have incredible stories.
Yeah.
No matter if you've never done a YouTube video before, if you're on social media or not, it doesn't matter. Every single human being I've ever talked to has a absolutely amazing story if you have the time and the will to listen. So
Mm.
that's a little bit about me. And now I'm the assistant director of Project Horizon,
Woo-hoo.
and we're triangulating and collecting data on UFOs and other strange anomalies in the sky, and the skies have been active, very active lately, and that's what we're doing. And we have some incredible things in work, including some projects with Dustin, which next Saturday it should be popping up. It's a fun little project we're doing to help Dustin get his experience out there to the world, just in the same way as I did with Heidi. My colleague Anthony Essen, Player Epic TV, and I were doing something with Dustin, and we're going to get his story out there and make sure people know who he is because I believe that he is worth getting to know because he has an incredible wild story. I'm pretty sure just like we all do in this chat, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm blushing over here. No, I
Sorry,
appreciate
sorry,
Awesome.
that. No.
sweetheart.
No, it's well said. What you said, that was really cool. And your experience there, I didn't know your background story. So thank you for catching me up to what, how you got into this field and getting other people aware of like other situations that are happening to people.
Yeah, that
Uh,
was a very brief, dude, very brief.
oh
Heidi
yeah,
knows the full thing. It's a 2 hour in-depth
sure. Well,
story.
maybe one of these days we'll get more in depth on
Yeah,
that.
for sure, man. Not now though. We're just chilling. And I get tired of telling the same story over and over because with facts, facts don't change. I can't make my story more magical than it is. It's been the same story since day one, So
Yes,
facts don't
that's
change and repeating the facts kind of gets boring, but I keep it authentic. I don't make stuff up, so
that's awesome. And you're
yeah.
such a great storyteller, by the way.
Yeah.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
Aaron, we were gonna get back to
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
these.
So
What?
if you darken that image on the left, you can see something, and the next picture shows what is seen.
Okay.
If you darken it, I don't know if you
How
can.
do you darken it?
It's
Uh,
Nikola Tesla's
Wow.
face. Uh, probably
What?
probably his portrait, or maybe a magazine with his picture on it behind the screen. And
oh
I
wow.
think he might have put it in there as a watermark.
Huh.
Oh, like
Oh,
a
cool.
Wow.
OG watermark.
It's
Like
a shadowgraph.
That's so cool.
that's
Isn't
pretty
that
nuts.
That is
isn't that
nuts.
wild?
Huh.
Good eye, Aaron.
It does look
Thank
like his
you.
face.
It does,
Wow.
That's
doesn't it?
gnarly.
What the heck's wrong with his foot? Or he must have had his shoe on or something.
Is
Well,
that the
I
shoe, the
Yeah, the
laces? And
shoes. Yeah.
yeah, that's the shoe.
you see how dark the bone is. You can hardly see it. That's a shadowgraph, you call it. And
Wow.
apparently, if this is from the same story, I think it is. He was crossing the street in New York City, and a car ran into him, broke his leg. He went to a doctor, and the doctor told him what he was going to do, and he said, "No, thank you. I'm going to take care of it myself." He went home and he made this shadowgraph machine to take a picture of it, and then he applied low amounts of electricity to help heal quicker, and he did
Hmm.
heal very quickly.
Huh.
So he
That's
healed himself.
amazing.
Yeah.
Huh.
Love it.
Wow.
So
I
cool.
wish they made the big Tesla tower because that was this whole theory. He could
Yeah.
power the whole world with this one
Mhm.
giant tower, right?
Yeah.
Well, that was the goal, I think.
But yeah, speaking
That,
of which, of like the airplanes dropping out of the sky lately,
oh my
they're talking
gosh.
about like China having a internet war with us, where they're starting to take over our technology and shit from afar, and saying they're just gonna drop planes out of the sky. I'm like, huh, it's starting to come true. I think I ain't fucking fine. No, it's starting to. I've already have my own fear of flying, and this just doesn't help
Oh,
to
yeah.
have this in the news every day of
This
something
does
dropping out
not
of the sky.
help.
No, it
No.
doesn't. No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah, I'm
hate
trying to. Yeah.
I hate flying. My arms get way too tired.
Yeah, we drove to see you last time. Aaron lives by my sister, so I get to see him when I visit my sister. But we did a road trip from California to Wisconsin because we were so done with flying. Our last time was so
Wow.
traumatic.
Sure.
So I'm trying not to show the kids the latest because we are supposed to go to Poland this summer. So
Oh
Oh,
wow.
that's a long plane ride. But yeah,
well,
there's
that'd be
been
kind of worth it going. Because I've never
I'm
been to
like,
Europe.
"I'll knock us out, guys, don't worry." Um, but there's been some activity out here, there's been a lot of people talking about having their eyes in the sky. I mean, other than the crazy weather things, there's been, some more UFOs spotted, there's a lot of that chatter lately, which is interesting here in LA. And I know because, I'd like to think it's for support in a positive term. Um, but who knows? But again, I'm hearing the chatter from the people that don't normally chatter. So that's kind of exciting. It's normalizing the paranormal. It's
Sure.
people that are conversing. Yeah, it's kind of neat. But the plane thing, I don't know. I know we all have our thoughts on it, but
Yeah. No, it's just all theories and conspiracy theories. And then another conspiracy theory is like, why was the fire started? Was it arson in the
yeah,
beginning, or was it
yeah.
they talked about
Well,
wasn't health insurance dropping fire
well,
hazard shit? And then
yeah, I have a couple follow-ups to that, which are really every party has its pooper. But the as far as the insurance thing, because I have a parent from the fire department that confirmed some things, as well as my giant, and I was talking to, but there were instances where we got a notice from the city and from that you needed to clear in order to keep your insurance. And I think that was State Farm. I don't know who else that you needed 100 feet around your property cleared because of fire prevention. And
Mhm.
some people didn't comply. And that's why it was taken. Even our learning center, my beautiful outdoor classroom,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like tore out now because it was touching
Oh
too close to the
shit.
building. And we didn't know what that was. That was in November. We're like, why'd they rip this out? I just gave a tour today and I'm like, don't ignore this bald patch. It used to be a beautiful area, but they pulled it out. And now we know why. It was like the preparations and So there's a little bit of conflict there as far as there was a warning, and if you didn't comply, then it was dropped. So I don't want to be that girl, but that's the latest in intel on that stuff. And as far as the start, the Santa Anas are wicked, and they do come from the fall until spring, but really not of that caliber. Even the fire department was saying they've never seen winds of that caliber. The lineman that I know, my assistant's husband's a lineman. He's seen the pole snap. They haven't seen that in that kind of wind before. So there was still a lot of nefarious activity. But we do have a huge homeless community, and that's how they warm up. And a lot of my fire department guy said, whether this whole incident happened or not, we would have been all over town putting out little fires because that's their mean of warmth and
Sure, sure.
cooking. And so they do happen sporadically. The Woodley fire, especially, that happens twice a year at least, because there's a huge encampment there. Oddly enough, by where Max Spears said there's an entrance. That's where there's a huge homeless encampment. But um, so those are my Debbie Downer stories of it all. But the conspirator in me is, I mean, you go through Palisades, that's not natural. It's not natural. Altadena,
Sure.
it was not natural. The comm towers went down. The little boy in my class who lost his house, they saw the explosion of the comm towers going down. The scary part for them is they live by Eaton Park, and they were just walking to check it out, and it was like the rolling electric fire coming their way. They didn't have a chance to go back in their house. That
Wow.
was scary. And then of course the winds exasperated. Same with our area. I mean, where the fire shouldn't have affected us, but those winds were so ridiculously wicked
Wow.
that it was just like pow, it just blew right on over. So it's a culmination of so many things. And we didn't get our insurance dropped. We didn't even get asked for that. You hear, I
Hmm.
think out of what 7 million here, it was 75,000 had it taken. My friend, the kid who lost his home, they were one of the families that said, yeah, we got this notice, but we didn't comply. And so they lost everything in their house. They're not going to get much back. They're not going to get enough back to even rent. So they're jumping little friend sublets right now. We don't know if they're going to try to stay out the year with us. I don't know if they're going to be here, longer than that, but it's just all severely tragic. Of course, it's the Olympic Games coming in, the smart city, all that stuff. I get
Smart city.
that.
Yeah.
Now there's this whole thing about, oh, now we need low income housing in the Palisades, like the most high end real estate you could get in the area. So there's a lot that makes your head spin. But again, I can't help but think about back to 45 when he's like, you can't tell the people, you have to show them. And that's what's happening. All of those that are in this town that are like, la, 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 they don't want to do anything. They've just had everything ripped out. It's like Clockwork Orange time. Their eyes are
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
open now.
Yeah.
Now, and they're all rising up. So I know I'm repeating myself, but
No, that's great.
yeah,
I like that the Clockwork Orange reference.
good
Yeah.
movie. It's a good movie.
Good point.
I have little Alex tattooed on me as a Cupid on my leg.
Oh,
What
I,
don't you have tattooed on you?
I know, right?
That's
A
the
lot of
bigger
shit.
question.
It's true. I'm a human coloring book.
Hmm.
But no, that's crazy. Yeah, it just makes you think. And it's just so much shit this has been happening. And we had the recent whistleblower. I don't know if you guys listen much about that. I know Robert probably knows a little bit more. The
what,
egg shaped,
Eggman?
the egg man, yeah.
Eggman?
So it's
Talking
kind of
about
very disappointing.
extraterrestrials?
Yeah, very disappointing to kind of rouse everybody up about that one.
Mhm.
It's kind of like Mork's egg that they found, and he popped out of it and said, "Ha ha,
Yeah, Mork and
Robert
Mindy.
Williams is not
Yeah.
really dead."
The
That
best.
motherfucker.
That's what I said originally. I'm like, oh, Robin Williams is back, baby.
Yeah, for sure.
I know he didn't die. Come on.
Yeah.
He went to Mars. No.
So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Robert's disappointed as much as I am,
I
and
mean, hey, UAP recoveries actually do happen. The problem is
sure.
you don't see News Nation covering those stories. You see them covering something that could be a balloon or God knows what it could be, from that vantage point. And also, what I find so strange, honestly, I would like to hear your thoughts about it. But, my father worked for a high clearance position in Cape Canaveral, Florida for a crane company, okay?
Hmm.
Crane operator for SpaceX, many other places as well. I know a thing or two about classified crane operations. And normally, anytime he's working on anything, there's people on the ground spotting and controlling on the ground when an object is brought down, especially if it's a UFO. You want to make sure that asset has a ground crew, and the
Yeah, I was
second that
say.
thing gets down
Yeah,
on the ground,
that's what I
they're
was thinking.
standing around it to harness it, to strap it. The fact there's nothing down there, I call bullshit.
Yeah,
Honestly, because from all I know, highly classified construction procedures, even my UFO crash, it was held down. They took it out on a flatbed with black tarp on the back of it, and they had a tree cutting service remove a couple trees so they could get the debris because it happened in a swamp. So I know the amount of people it takes and how they lock down a scene when it comes to UFO crash debris and etc. This video just doesn't do it for me. I just think it's some sort of balloon thing.
yeah,
I can't tell. I mean, I don't want
yeah.
to knock it. I'm a wanna believer. I want to believe things that are real, but I've just been in this game too long, and I've seen enough real things myself that now I just question everything in this community, questioning it all
Yes.
in a good way.
The guy who's this whistleblower, his eyes are just bugging out of his head, and he's talking about he had like an emotional connection with this UFO, and he was picking it up, and like he was getting like in tears. He was even telling he was crying while he was flying the helicopter. That was
Mm.
just weird. I don't know if that's is he elaborating a little bit more on the story to make it sound more juicy. But again, it's just how the interview was even played out. It was just so kind of like Hollywoody type. You know what I'm saying? It's just like not CNN type, interview.
And
And
then,
you think, I'm sorry.
mm, oh, I was just gonna say, I bet there's a Netflix documentary out this weekend for it because there
Oh,
are
for sure.
there's always like a launch of a show right after something like too close. It's like you had a lot of time to put that together. Sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
No,
that's a good point.
and you think you're right. You think more news channels would jump on this if there's a real UFO, and
Yeah,
more. You wonder why other news didn't want to pick it up because it just kind of looks silly.
yeah, yeah. Great point.
Yeah. So, yeah, and it's a great point that you made too, where there should be a ground crew ready to pick this thing up, ready to go. Because you're not gonna just let it
Especially
sit
if it's
around.
that classified. I
Sure.
mean, you have to understand. I mean, all that was left from my UFO crash, all that was left was basically the main core, that plasma light in the center, that absorbed into itself. But there was like a core around it. The rest of the craft of the triangle exploded into a million little pieces, just a lot like what we've been seeing on the news, but that main core, it was about size of a big flatbed truck, and that was really all that was left. It obliterated itself. It looked like a giant firework, but yeah, there always has to be a crew operating that. If it's actually classified, they're not going to let it just sit out in the open field.
No. And then there's like, I remember like, I think it was like in Pennsylvania back in 1965, where this like acorn shaped UFO crash landed,
The
and it was
bell.
picked. Yeah, the bell kind of. They even thought it was the Gluck.
Hicksburg. Hicksburg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hicksburg, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Yeah, I find that kind of interesting because that actually had symbols on it, and the military was really quick to get up on that. And there's only, I think, a handful of people that got to see it up
You,
close right away.
you know what? When I first heard that story and I saw the other witnesses, the procedures and stuff, I honestly believe all those people because what they're describing is very similar to what I saw. And it's very interesting. I think that's a case that doesn't get as much attention as it should. I think it's
Yeah,
quite remarkable. And when you see all the witnesses and the kind of people they are, it's peculiar.
yeah, and the shape of it and the symbols.
Mhm.
Again, it is has like that, shape of an
Bell.
egg. or Bell,
Bell. Well, the bell is one of the most aerodynamic shapes you could have in the entire universe. Fun fact, you would think like a ball or a bullet shaped right would be faster. No, a bell, because when it comes to traveling speed, it's all about frequency and vibration, and nothing hits that resonance mark better than a bell does.
It's true. It's true.
Mm,
And then Aaron,
agreed.
you had a UFO sighting. Your camera, remember your camera was all
Yeah,
zapped out.
I saw this UFO.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. I was like,
I
how's
saw,
it flying there right
It
now?
looks like it's just hovering
I
there.
know it does. I was like, how is he doing that?
it is. Yeah, I saw that exact same UFO in 1996 over Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. I was driving from Dork County, where I live, to Minnesota, where my folks were, and I got through Chippewa Falls, just outside of the city, and I was driving my Fiero. I had a red Fiero, cool car, so much fun. And I looked out the side of my window. There's this silver disc in the sky. It was a clear sky. It was like 3 in the afternoon. And I went, holy crap moly, what's that? And I pulled over and I got out of my car. I'm looking at the thing. There's no other cars on the road. And I'm watching this thing, and it was darting. It was going sharp angles and stopping. And your mind goes, okay, it's not an airplane. It's not a helicopter. And I used to work at Anagram. I used to design Mylar balloons. And is it a Mylar balloon? Maybe caught in wind vortexes. But no, because when it would stop, it would be just totally still, and it would change directions at another right angle. I thought it can't be. If it was a balloon, it would be rocking a little bit. The wind would be, moving it around. And this thing was definitely there. And I got this feeling like I wasn't supposed to see it. This weird ooky feeling. It was strange. I can't even describe it. And I thought, wait a minute. I got my Sony Handycam, my video camera, in my car. So it was in my passenger seat, and I reached in my car. I grabbed it. It was all fully charged. It was working minutes before. I hit the record button. It powered up and it powered down. Didn't get one single frame. And then it zipped off at light speed. It was gone. And I thought, holy crap, they're real. They're real. And that's what got me started. And I had a cable access show in Sturgeon Bay. And I found out that in the early 50s, there was a large UFO seen by two different people. One in Sturgeon Bay and one in Fish Creek, about 30 miles away. And they both saw the same thing. And I guess a sheriff drove underneath it. It was very large. And people didn't want to come on the show to talk about it because they were afraid about losing their job. And this happened in the 50s. But so we did a live call-in show. Okay. The UFO show only aired 3 times. And then I got a call from the sheriff yelling at me, screaming at me to, listen, Moriarty, you stop that show of yours, that UFO show, or I'm going to throw you in jail. I'm going to lock you up and throw away the key. No one will ever know where you are. And he was screaming at me. I said, but don't you officer me. And it was frightening. So he hung up. I called the police station right back. I said, am I on any kind of restraining order or anything? Or no. What's going on here? I went to deliver the 4th episode of the UFO show to the place where you're supposed to bring it, according to the cable access show or channel. And the guy there called the cops on me. The cops came and said, why are we here? I said, I don't know. I'm just bringing a videotape. I'm not threatening him or anything. So I don't know what the heck the deal is. I don't know. Very weird.
That's
how it goes.
They shut it down, and they put a church service in the place of where my show was. And it was just really sad. And so yeah, the cover up is down to the local level there.
Oh yeah. No,
Mm,
I
That
definitely agree.
that chief of police passed away, or what I like to say is he returned to his home planet.
Nice. One of
But
those reptilians. Uh,
Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
But the fact that
I
like that your battery just drained right when you're trying to film it,
I
yeah.
that's
know.
pretty gnarly,
yeah, and I
right?
never
That
took a charge after that. I had to get a new battery.
Huh.
And
Not one.
something interesting Aaron said too was when he was saying when these things would stop, how still they were. It's
Mhm.
oddly still. Like the thing
Yes.
that was levitating behind our
yep.
house, it was abnormal. Even a helicopter has what they call leaf effect, where it goes like that. So to see something that perfectly still, like what Aaron was describing, it's abnormal. It hurts your brain because you're not used to seeing anything that's still. It's like
Mhm.
outside of our laws of physics. Would you say that's
Mhm.
correct, Aaron?
Yeah, well, I think that now, this was back in '96, but now you have drones that can do that. They actually have GPS and they have self-righting stabilizers that
Yeah,
keep them in one spot. But
yeah.
back then there was nothing like that, and it was moving very rapidly and stopping and going in opposite right angles, and
Uh,
it felt like it was trying to elude me, to not for me not to look at it. And that's when I got that creepy feeling, that ooky feeling, that I felt like I wasn't supposed to see it.
Mm.
yeah.
Hmm.
And it was just weird. Just
That is weird.
Ooh. That reminds me of my dad's story. I think I told all of you guys when I was sharing stories with you. Same area, Door County, and this would have been the '90s, and my mom would be calling in ships all the time, and she'd have that colorful ships come in and land in front of her and dance, and she had a positive experience. But my dad with his VHS camera would be like, "Let's go, let's do this," and anytime they come around, he'd be like he'd be knocked out and the tape wouldn't be recording, and then he'd think like a minute passed by, but it'd be like my mom having this exchange for a little while, and then it would leave and she'd turn and he'd be like, so I think we'll see anything, and she's like, I just did. And it's crazy, some people weren't meant to see it, but also the power down of that video. They did catch one video, but they sent it to MUFON and then never heard from them again, so I could never. So
That's
that
interesting.
happened. The one and only little VHS tape. But that area is active. I think I shared that on yours too, Robert. Like I think it's a hot spot over there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the fact that like Sturgeon Bay was the first UFO organization in America back in the 1950s with
Yeah.
Cora
So
Lorenzen
cool.
and her husband Robert.
Yeah.
And yeah, the fact that that turned into MUFON after, over time. But no,
Mm.
again, I just love that Wisconsin is where the start was. This is a hotspot because she lived in Barron, Wisconsin. That's northwest. And her and her friends, she was like about 9 years old, saw this UFO that was shaped like an umbrella. Didn't have like the pole in the middle, obviously, but
Hmm.
it has the kind of spokes, but kind of just kind of hopping around, but it's rotating. But she
Mm.
said it was like holding a dime like to arm's length, when she was seeing it.
Wow.
And yeah, her and her friends were just jaw dropped, like, what the hell was that? And it was dead silent. And yeah, that's what started her journey in the UFO
Wow.
search. And the fact that it's a woman too that's making strides in the UFO community and gave it kind of the birth, of like the public getting involved and like trying to figure out what this is. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's really
and
cool.
I think actually we were just talking about this last night, Dustin and I, but I was saying I've had a lot of people from the UP, Upper Peninsula in Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and what
Mm-hmm.
I've come to learn, just like Wisconsin, it's the lake. That
Mm.
lake
That's
Boom.
true.
plays
Yep.
Yes.
such
Yep.
a role in this phenomena. And not just the lake, Dustin and I were also talking about the minerals that you have there in that area are only found in that area. And I think with
Mhm.
the water, the minerals, and whatever other energetic, properties that could be reacting to the metals and precious materials that are there, and the strange stuff at the bottom of that lake that the public don't know about, and the military purposes of that lake, there is a lot of stuff going on up there. I've heard
Mhm.
so many mind-blowing stories, and especially ones coming from scuba divers, scuba people. Um, they've came across stuff and gotten a lot of trouble. Yeah. Near
Wow.
the island, what is it? Prince what island?
Washington Island? No.
I think it has a Prince in there. It's near that, like right off the UP to the
Oh,
right.
off the UP.
There's a little
Oh,
island there. I forget the name.
I do too.
Maybe I forget, but a lot of activity in that area, and I think a lot of the sightings. I think that may play a role. Water seems to always play a role.
Huh. Yeah, I agree. I see that. I can see that. There's been some recent sightings of Big Bear up around the lake up there. So I mean, yeah, water always seems to be involved, huh?
I was gonna say here in Wisconsin, we got Aztalan with these gigantic land pyramids that they
Oh,
think they've been the Aztec, or they said the natives in the area said these people came from afar and set up shop and built this gigantic wall around their village and built these pyramids made of mounds. But they're gigantic. How small these people are. I've
Yeah,
been there
oh,
multiple
those are
times.
people? I didn't
Oh
know
yeah.
yeah,
those are people. Wow.
that's
Yeah, that's
huge.
huge.
So this is the pyramid of the sun and this pyramid of the moon. It's a one staircase pyramid.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
And they
Dang.
practice cannibalism with the raging Indians. And again, they had a perfect water system with food and clean water. And one day they just kind of just disappeared out of thin air. They kind of just dropped everything with no signs of sickness or war. The UW actually does digs there, so digging up bones and pottery and arrowheads and other shit.
Hmm.
um,
Mm,
but again, we don't learn about this shit in high school, and you're like,
right.
what the fuck is going on? This is
Right now.
right in our backyard, and we have all
It's
this other stuff too. Here we have like this is out in Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Beautiful.
This is out on someone's property right now.
cool.
Wow.
It's
Yeah, we
That's
gorgeous.
can
so
go
cool.
there.
Too
We
cool to
have
do it.
we have paintings of the Birdmen here on ancient walls here. Kind of see the depictions
Ah.
of.
Uh,
He's got a long nose.
Thoth. It's
But
Thoth.
again, yeah, right.
Right?
It is right.
Hey, same
And then
guy,
this is the
same
Berlin.
same being, all over the place.
This is in
Mhm.
Burlington. It's another pyramid.
Oh wow, look at that.
That's crazy.
I've only been to Milwaukee, and apparently nothing cool was in Milwaukee.
Nothing cool.
And this is
What?
the man mound out in Baraboo. And in my eyes, this looks like an astronaut because you have to look at this from the sky to see it what it is. It's so
Mhm.
big. They
What
made
it,
its legs got chopped off during the 1920s or in the early 1900s when they're making roads back in the day. Not noticing it was a mound, but there was four other ones that got destroyed because they were making roads and building houses.
Huh.
are
But
what
again,
gives it the color? Are there rocks in there? What gives it the shape, the coloring?
I think someone might have burnt it out just because it gets the overgrowth.
Okay,
The
okay,
natives take care of it. It's part of
okay.
their
Aw.
yeah.
That's how they know what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's really cool
Wow.
because
You got some good ones there.
yeah, right. Just
Yeah.
again, it reminds me of like the Nazca lines, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
again, to entice the guys to return or they're physically
Mhm.
interacting with them. I don't know.
Mhm. Mhm.
I would
Makes
love
you
to make
wonder.
one of those of me.
Right?
Then we'll have aliens come down. They're like, "What is this specimen? We must probe it. We are coming right away. Who is this
Tree
guy?"
beard.
Yeah, I'll get them aliens.
It's really cool.
That is cool.
That's awesome.
My gosh, I'm going to share that with the class because I just shared with them that in Minnesota, or in Minnesota, well, we're studying Norse mythology. Mythology is great to study with kids because you're learning the archetypes and personalities, and this the year I'm with the kids now. It's very much the ego comes in. So, but anyway, they've been discovering parts of the Viking ships and
Oh, cool.
in Minnesota, hence the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
But they're all about the artifacts right now, and because we've been
Mhm.
finding stuff here, we've found arrowheads, we've found some things on our properties, and so now they're all about treasures. And I'll be like, about the mounds in Wisconsin? I'm gonna see what they know.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Wow.
Aaron, do you go to explore any of these places around Wisconsin?
No, I really haven't. But I actually have only been living here. I'm a newcomer in Door County. I've only been here like 30 years. But
What? You're a
before
hermit.
that, I was actually born in Arizona, but then I was raised in Minnesota. And I grew up in a little town from second grade and then fourth grade on, uh, town of Mound, Minnesota, because there were so many Indian burial mounds. And we
Oh,
lived in
wow.
the highlands on top of a hill overlooking Lake Minnetonka, where Tonka Toys got their name, because that's where
Oh, yeah.
Tonka Toys started. My dad used to work there, and then I
Hmm.
did later too. But um, every time it would rain, there'd be arrowheads in our yard, and I never even picked one up because there were so many of them. And I'd look at them, oh, this is not a fossil, it's just something some person did. And so I just threw it back in the ground because I wanted to
Oh
play.
man. Oh
He's gonna pull
man.
a
I didn't
skull out of
know.
his backyard.
I mean, they were everywhere. So why would you pick it up? And so when I moved out here, it's like there's no arrowheads, but there's fossils everywhere. So
Oh, cool.
there you go.
I'm sure the ancestors appreciated you leaving them where they were,
Hmm.
you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Bring back some
I
bad
I've
juju.
been I've been to some really incredible petroglyph sites. I'm Abenaki Native American, or in French, Abenaki, and I actually got to go to my tribe's site where we just got a land trust and we got the land back. And I had a friend that was an archaeologist that studies underwater, she does scuba, etc. And she discovered a very long lost petroglyph rock of our people that was underwater. And I was friends with her at the time, and she called me up and she's like, "Hey, you're Abenaki, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." She's like, "You need to come up here and see this." Right now it's just the head of the New England tribes. He was there when I went up there, and it was her, and I was the third person in the world to see these petroglyphs
Wow.
and of my ancestors. It's wild. And I got to connect, and I was filming a little video. I had permission to and all this, but I had to be respectful of the great spirits and call them great spirits. But let me tell you, they're extraterrestrials. That, like, I'm sorry, the petroglyphs I'm looking at, those are ETs. Those are not, spirit. I mean, they are spirits. That's the thing. They generalize everything. Everything's a spirit, a ghost, all that.
Yay.
But
Hmm.
it was
Hmm.
amazing, a great time, and I got to see these amazing petroglyphs all over the place, and they made them near their burial mounds. And then what
Wow.
happened, the town came, they built bridges, they exploded rocks and buried. So all the petroglyphs are buried in rocks from bridges they built. Then they built a dam and they flooded out all the petroglyphs. And that's why my friend found it underwater. That's
Wow.
why our most sacred rock was
Whoa.
buried from a man-made dam, screwed up all the land, flooded all. Now the most of the land's coming back from the flood, and we got the land trust, but to take care of it and preserve it. But it's wild how much, history here in North America we had,
Oh
Yes.
my
and
God.
people absolutely destroyed it.
Yep.
Yep.
We do
Yep.
have
Yep.
ancient history. There is ancient history here, but it was destroyed deliberately.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm so
And
glad you
it's
said that. Yeah.
I was gonna show you. This is my personal Kachina doll collection
That's
Yay.
awesome.
from the 1940s to the 1950s. So like the oldest ones are in the back here. The one that kind of looks like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
And everything looks again very robotic, astronaut like,
Yeah.
and then the whole story of like the Hopi Indians being like starving in the desert until one day this blue star comes flying over them and showing three mesas. They were somewhere where the soil was good and showing them how to, use agriculture and
Mm-hmm.
mathematics and astrology and physically interacting with these people, especially in my view, especially when they left and is promising to one day return. Is one reason why they're making them to pass down to their children. So one day when they do
Aw.
return, they're not going to be as scared as fuck. Because if this dude comes out like, blah, 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 blah. You know
It's
what I'm saying? Like,
it's
oh my God, what the fuck?
it's
You know
preconditioning.
what I'm
Like, oh,
saying?
that's the toy I had. Then it's nostalgia. Oh, you look like the toy I had when
Yeah,
I
like
was a
this
little
guy.
kid.
It's
It's
like,
Yeah.
I'm going to eat your
preconditioning.
brains out.
Oh,
Like,
he's a lovable little monkey.
yeah. But
The
Oh my
ones look like
gosh.
gremlins.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
I still haven't found my destiny. I told you I have one from the Hopis that was
Oh,
given
do
to me when I
you?
was pregnant with Charlie. And
Oh,
it wound
cool.
up, yeah. And it's very peaceful pastel. It's pretty chill. But that story, I did share that with the class last year, though you're saying the Hopi. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm just fascinated. I'm glad you brought up the ancient lands too, because that's what I'm really not I don't have to drive it home. The kids know. They're like, people were here before and how many lifetimes and how many worlds and how much, what is they understand land is sacred. So when all this happened to LA, we mourned it, the things, but it was also like calling in the ancestors. We're like, help protect this land. I really want to protect the ancient lands here. Yeah, but anyway, I feel like they protected us up here, so we got out of it unscathed. But yeah, so important. It's so important to teach the kids these stories, I think.
True. And you think for all the Bigfoot sightings that you see in California or heard about in California, that like, damn, there's some of their habitat getting burned up right there, right?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Well,
Hmm.
you want a little conspiratorial one? Because since I was such a party pooper, I've been sharing this one around. It was fall, like September, October, and I have an old film location scout buddy online who's not conspiratorial at all. He isn't even one that used to call me Craftspiracy. He was just really nice fella, and his district was Palisades in Malibu for like 25 years. And he's posting on Facebook. He took it down, but we still talk to him. He doesn't want to come forward. But in the fall, he said, wow, I can't believe it. In my 25 years, there haven't been so many for sale signs in Palisades and Malibu. And I'm like, Lincoln, ding, 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 that, watch, something's going to happen to Palisades and Malibu. And sure enough. So I'm like, did they get heads up? Were they paid off? How many people were actually there? There's so many stories to all of it. But I feel Palisades area was a plan. And I think, like our area and the other area may have been just like, oops, I don't know. But I still feel in the plan of Palisades. Just wanted to throw in that little juicy nugget.
Oh yeah,
Because that was weird. That was fishy. And I
that's
mean,
weird.
you don't see for sale signs in neighborhoods when estates have been passed down generations.
Mm.
They usually held on. So somebody, it was planned operation. But
Weird.
that's my nugget.
It's well,
It's crazy.
hopefully we're on a good path now.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well,
Nothing
there's a
else.
lot of eyes on Cali right now, right? And 47 was just
Sure.
here. He was making riffs about it. He really went hard on Newscomb and Bass, called him out. Oh, my fire department guy also said, yes, as soon as Bass got in office, she was attacking the fire departments, defunding them straight away, probably her first day in office. So that's pretty coordinated right there. Department was also saying how they're severely, they haven't had enough people for ever. They've been severely, low staff for a long time. And they've had the same firehouses since the 60s. And we've grown in LA, millions of people. So supply and demand. It doesn't make sense for a place that has Santa Ana's or a desert terrain. None of it makes sense. So there's been a lot of intent, that's for sure.
Hmm.
But in the middle of all this, I want to share a happy story, especially when it comes to the teaching stuff, because I had a really cool thing happen yesterday. Well, actually, 2 weeks ago, a new girl started my class. She came from Pasadena, where they lost their school. And the mom and we met, and it was just like one of those, energy, like, oh, hello. But quickly passing. I got to hang with her a little bit yesterday on this field trip. And the reason I came into our conversation, she was talking loud with these moms going, "Oh, yeah, since a child, I've seen UFOs. In fact, I think I've been on a ship." And da da da. And I'm just like, "Welcome to my class. Hello. Let's officially meet." And then she starts talking about the Mindsight Institute and Rebecca Corey and how she wants to work with kids and, with the blindfolds and, telepathy and everything. And I'm just like, we just had this severe trauma thing, but it brought her to me and her child to me, and
That's
all of
cool.
us are finding each other. And this woman is like, I want to, and another two moms jumped in that I didn't even know. I know they watch some of my stuff sometimes, but they chimed in going, "Yeah, we want to do the training too and work with children in that way." And I'm like, so we're building, we're co-creating. So I'm even amongst the tragedy, we're finding each other, and there's this beautiful co-creation happening. So I thought that was cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron, tell us about this photograph here.
This is this is a photo I took years ago with a regular old camera, and I was noticing if you on the left that little dash,
Yeah.
little dash. I was noticing these things all the time, and I would look at them, and they would be kind of moving, uh, sort of in sync with the sun. So I don't think it's a craft. I think there's some kind of lensing in the atmosphere of the sunlight somehow. It seems connected to the sun in some way, but I don't think they're actually craft. But it is a really weird thing to see because
I'm just
it's
wondering what would cause that reflection with what I'm seeing
Sure.
in front of me. It looks like an old house. There is the antenna on top of the house.
no, I've seen these everywhere. I mean,
Oh,
and
not just here?
no, around
Okay.
here. But there's two large bodies of water on either side of the land, so it could be some kind of
Uh,
refractive. I don't know what it is, but it just feels like it's not a craft, although it does look like something. But I just don't think it is because it seems to move like as the sun goes down, it moves over a little bit, and it just seems to be connected to the sun movement.
yeah.
Hmm.
What kind of camera?
Probably just some cheap camera. I don't remember. I've had
Okay.
dozens of cameras over the years. I can't remember exactly what camera it was, but I took several pictures with other cameras too of that same thing, trying to figure out what it was to zoom in and blow it up. I just never could figure out what it was, but I really just don't think that it's a craft. I would like
Yeah.
to think that it might be, but I just don't.
And you've
Honestly,
captured that on multiple cameras, so?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's
Okay.
from, it's in your eye. You can see it right with your eye, and
Huh.
but it seems intrinsically connected to the sun movement.
It
So
might be a natural anomaly,
that's
still
what I
very
think of it.
strange and amazing to see. And I don't know how that is possible. Maybe
Yeah,
the water, like you said, but it, it's weird.
it is weird.
It's weird.
Hmm.
We can show
It's
you some
very
really cool photographs here.
Wisconsin, man. Crazy.
Yeah, right. I know.
You guys are nuts out there.
Those are some of my photographs I have from
Oh,
Colonel Wendell
wow.
Stevens.
That's
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
You know, those little
Crazy
sneak
square.
peek.
Oh, crazy.
Crazy.
1965.
Classic,
Look at
man.
that. Yeah.
This is New Mexico from Paul Villa.
And those are actual photos. So I wonder what the
Yeah.
photo lab guy was doing. It was really like,
It is
"What
like
Yeah,
is this
tripping out,
think.
right?
Yeah, imagine the guy that had to print them out.
Yeah, and
These got
Wow.
symbols on them.
people will say sometimes, "Oh, it's just a hubcap someone threw." No, it isn't because I tried that with a bunch of different hubcaps. I threw them in the air and took a picture. They look exactly like a hubcap. They don't look like a UFO at all.
Yeah.
Geez,
Look at the
that's
points on
clear.
that.
Yeah, look at that.
This is all from Colonel Wendell Stevens. I was so lucky at that storage locker. I can't believe it. It's my
Yeah.
golden.
Seriously.
It's definitely my golden ticket into this community.
Well
Uh,
deserved.
I've
yeah.
been blown away by the photos he's shown me. He's sent the whole album today, and I'm looking through it, and I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. This is wild. Yeah, I'm looking forward to
Jeez.
doing the show. It's gonna be awesome,
That's not
Dustin.
Yeah.
how big mine was in the sky. It was very big in the sky. It was very close.
Really, that
Yeah.
close, you would say? Wow.
It was as big as as long as my index finger at arm's
Oh,
length. In the,
interesting. Dustin, real quick, do you know Michael Stratt?
Oh
No.
yeah. I've
Well,
heard that. And
yeah, he was just recently talking about that picture, and he doesn't say that it's fake, but he said that he believes it's possibly a drone.
Yeah, it could be.
So, the point is he didn't say it was fake because in the video he was talking about fake photographs and stuff, and he pulled this up and he said it's not fake, but he just thinks it's a drone. But still,
Because this
not
other
fake.
object actually came out of the so this bigger object came out of the water. This guy who was on the beach taking pictures of it,
wow.
Eric Thompson, Australia.
And
This is Wendell Stevens' handwriting, by the way, too. That makes it extra juicy. I love it.
And
Making
you
it hard
have the
on.
negative to
I got the
that
negatives.
photo.
Oh yeah,
To
right
wow.
here.
that photo. The
Yeah,
negative.
I got the negatives right here.
Jeez. Oh
Don't fu-
jeez.
don't fuck
Wow.
around
Yeah.
all day.
Awesome.
Oh, right
Boom, boom,
there.
boom.
There's the
Yeah,
negative for it.
yeah.
Wow.
Too cool for school.
Seriously.
So Saturday, make sure to check out my channel, everyone.
Yeah.
Robert Earl White and Epic TV, Anthony S. Sinclair. We're going to be live streaming all over the place. We are going to have an awesome video with Dustin and him sharing his story. How in the heck do you come across a treasure trove, 200 UFO photographs, and some of the best photos I've seen in a very long time. And
Mhm.
coming from such a person such as Wendell Stevens, Lieutenant Colonel, wrote tons of very common books in the UFO world. And what we're trying to do, we're trying to take that older generation of ufology, and pull that in for the younger. So we're trying to make it, take all that old information and make it hip and cool.
Little sex appeal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Have some strippers dancing in our intro.
Yeah,
Like that's your department, Dustin.
that's right. I'm the bunny.
Not me. Not me.
Is that the 8th, Robert? So that's February 8th, Saturday? Is your
It'll
live next
uh
Saturday, basically?
yeah, yeah, not
Okay.
not not tomorrow, but the day. Wait, what's today? Is today
Today's
Friday?
Saturday.
Oh,
Saturday.
Today's
Saturday.
Saturday.
Okay, so yeah,
One
this
week today.
upcoming Saturday.
Okay.
Not tonight.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Sweet. Man, we can probably end it on that note. So hey, before we go, for our audience who want to reach out to you, Robert, is there any websites or any Facebook or Instagram or
Yeah.
Twitter or what you got?
Yeah, so my YouTube channel is Robert Earl White, Order of Light. You can find it on there. On Facebook, if you type Robert Earl White, my name should come up, but it says Robert Orasi. Long story short, my old Facebook account after 13 years was nuked after I did an interview with Laura Eisenhower, and it went viral, did really well. I lost my Facebook for no reason. Oh, go
Mm.
figure. That's how it
Mm,
goes. So now it's Robert Orasi, but if you type Robert Earl White, that should still bring it up. And
sure.
then I'm on X, which is complicated name, but yeah, just YouTube, Facebook, and my
Okay.
email is orderoflight777 at gmail.com. So yeah, come check out the YouTube though. That's my baby. So Robert Earl White. Thanks.
Cool.
Woohoo.
How about you, Heidi?
Yes, I Linktree/Heidi Popp has all the things, but yeah, X, TikTok, all the fun things. It's usually at Heidi Pop LA. And YouTube, that's where my fun, most of my shows, I go live and I love to talk to the community. So I have 2 shows tomorrow and well, this isn't airing then, so never mind. But yeah, you can. There's not too many Heidi Pops. I don't
No.
sing Christian music. She's the other one. That's the other Heidi Pop. She's in Germany, I think. So you can
That's
find
amazing.
me on all the channels. Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you again. And Aaron, where can everybody find you at?
Well,
has
they
a great
used to be able to
chat,
find
too.
me on YouTube, but not anymore. I'm only on Rumble. So
Okay.
Rumble, I'm at Truth Quest with Aaron Moriarty, and Moriarty is not spelled like the Sherlock Holmes. It's got 2 I's. And also I'm on Twitter or X. It's Aaron J. Moriarty. And on Facebook, I'm Aaron Moriarty. And I also have a Truth Quest page on there that I hardly ever go on to, but yeah, I live stream 3 days a week. I just had Heidi on not too long ago.
Oh, did you? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
We
And
did a couple. He was my first. I think Robert, you were like, you guys were my first year really of trying all this out. But you all of you have a great live community too. You get to talk and interact with the community when you go live. And Aaron's got a really fun group too. So I love that aspect. That's the building community I love.
Aaron, I'd like to come back onto your show, Truth Quest again. We could
that'd be great.
Again.
That'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
Come on.
You can't come on mine though.
I can't. Fine.
I'm just kidding. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to invite Heidi.
There. Yeah. I think this is 6 twice with Aaron, but this is 5 or 6 with you, Dustin.
I think this is 6-1 on my show.
And Robert, I'm so happy to see you again. So I'm going to talk to all of you guys. Yeah.
Sure. And Robert, you should come on my show too, because we're just downrange of strange, where the outrageous is contagious and the paranormal is the new normal.
That sounds wonderful. Let's set it up, my friend. I like that voice, awesome. Aaron. That was a good voice. That's a good intro.
Oh man, Aaron's funny as shit. He makes videos and
he's got commercials.
Yeah, awesome comedian.
Yeah,
well, hey, you guys, why don't you stay with me for 2 more minutes?